Smacking Off the Podcast with your hosts Shannon Madden and Doug Phillips.
Come come Perdue and Walter Bryant to Smacking Off the Podcast.
Keep the fucking drives going. And
you mean like on the 1 yard line?
Yeah, I mean like last week we had
problems too. So
we had no turnovers last week.
Yeah.
We managed to pull off a win. You know, it wasn't pretty, but we won.
My concern is that you know, and we've shown this already when we played LSU. I believe anyhow. You know, I think we may be looking ahead to that Bama game, and we're going to come out there with a chip on our shoulder trying to prove that we can play with Bama, much less beat them. And I just hope we're not looking ahead.
Well, you've already clinched your division.
Yeah.
Same with Bama.
But I hope we're not looking ahead, you know.
You know, you definitely are looking ahead. There's no doubt about it.
Right.
But I think they realize this is a big game. I think both teams will come out, you know, hitting hard. It'll be
It's going to be a good one, I think.
Game.
I think if Smart will just show Georgia the film of the game at Jordan Hare last year, that should alert them to what can happen.
You can definitely pump up kids of that age with that kind of that locker room board material.
And most of them were probably on the squad, so they actually remember it.
What you see in that film last year, though, is you see, you know, the pressure getting to Fromm, which he played pretty poorly in that game.
Right.
After the pressure
he hasn't been playing that great this year either. And I think that's what a lot of us fear is we just haven't been as consistent. But we're playing a whole lot of freshmen and sophomores. We don't really have any leaders on the team. You know what I mean? So when we start getting down, we stay down. And that's the problem.
Yep.
I believe Georgia has the talent, though. I mean, if that were my offense, I think Holyfield would probably get a few more touches.
Yeah,
I mean, Holyfield and Swift and Miko and Ridley, that's enough to really pull an offense down the field.
You have to keep in mind, though, and I think this is becoming more evident in the past couple of weeks, last week for sure. I think Swift's been injured this year more than they've let on. But, you know, when you see him get those touches last week, he's making men look like boys. What no one thought he would.
Who's the starting tailback?
Well, that's the thing.
Holyfield, in my opinion.
Yeah. But Holyfield Swift has that breakout capability. Holyfield is more, he's going to pound you. He's going to pound you.
And he does.
But Swift can cut on you and you know, give
sure,
you
he can score it anywhere on the field, as they say.
Yeah.
And so can Miko and some of your other. Well, I mean, Georgia's got some pretty impressive athletes. I think their line has underperformed a time or two this year. Not bad, not really bad, but just not as well as you'd expect. But like I said, if it were me, I think Auburn's game plan this weekend first is we got to stop Holyfield, because I really see Holyfield as being a threat to our defense. But we play well against the run. Our Achilles heel is really that we can't put pressure on a quarterback.
And you don't have a big physical back like you did last year.
We don't, but I would put it all on the defense. Even if we had, I've said this before, if Holland were there this year, I think we'd be nearly undefeated. Just that element alone can really change the game. Because you're basically fucking up their offense when you get to their quarterback. I mean, that's how you stop drives. That's how you force third downs. That's how you get the ball back.
Well, tell me this, Walter. All right, if there's a threat that I need to be looking for as a Georgia fan when I'm watching the game, because you know we don't keep up with other teams as often as we should. Who should I be looking for? Who do you think could be a game changer for Auburn?
For Auburn, it's got to be one person. Well, two. I'll throw two names out there. Ryan Davis is a playmaker. Sometimes he makes a huge play. He can score. He can score from anywhere on. But it's got to be on Jarrett Stidham. It's got to be Jarrett Stidham has to have a good game for Auburn to win. It's been that way all season.
Going to have a great game for Auburn to win this game.
You know, speaking of, I think, I don't know if anyone's noticed this yet, but this is probably going to be the year that snaps Auburn's 1,000-yard rusher streak. I think Booby's sitting somewhere around 600 yards so far this year. And, you know, he's banged up. He's not getting all the carries. So That's like a 10-year streak that's probably going to go down this year unless somebody plays really huge. But that's been our inefficiency on offense. Turnovers have killed us, and they always will. Alabama will lose if they turn the ball over 3 times. I mean, it happens. How are all the Alabama fans feeling, Doug and Shannon? I hadn't spoke to you guys in a while.
I'm
Coming
feeling
off the big LSU win.
I mean, how are we supposed to feel?
Is that pretty much what you expect?
Fucking winners.
I mean, yeah, I've done my very best this week to kind of lay back on all of that. It almost kind of it's almost like you have to be apologetic about being an Alabama fan when they convincingly
That's the mood right now.
destroy the number 3 team in the nation. And I mean, LSU, we're not talking about a preseason ranking, kind of like FSU last year.
No, they earned it.
We're talking about an earned number 3 ranking, and we just completely demolished them in their own house, a very tough place to win.
And it only dropped them to 7.
I'm not looking forward to this championship game.
Doug just brought up a really good point that they only dropped to 7 with that loss. I mean, and then that's has a lot to do with the public perception of the way Alabama's playing right now. So I don't want to rub it in.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I'm doing my best not to rub it in. We have arguably the best quarterback in college football right now.
Agreed.
Timothy Bailey would disagree with me on that, but
I've said he's the number 1 overall eventual pick. So I agree with that.
I agree with you.
He will probably, if he continues to stay healthy, because again, that knee is a, we get a lot of conflicting reports on that knee. There's a lot of talk out of Tuscaloosa saying he's fine, and then we watch him.
He favored it. I saw that. He looked a little banged up and susceptible this weekend.
You saw that. You saw the touchdown that he ran in.
Here's what the trainers are saying.
Yes.
You can't make a sprain. He can't make the sprain worse, but it hurt him to run to sprint that touchdown because
how well he played though.
Right.
I mean, even through.
But what they're saying is he's got no chance of making the sprain worse. It's a sprain.
Yeah.
It's not going to get worse, but I mean he could get injured, but it's not going to be.
I didn't know he was that fast. I honestly didn't know he was that fast.
And he really wasn't that fast. If you looked at him, he was kind of wobbly.
The hole was the size of a trailer park.
Absolutely, and it was an indicator that LSU had no fear whatsoever of him running because of his knee.
Yeah,
and he took advantage of it, and he paid for it. It definitely hurt him. It hurt him,
but it put another touchdown on the board. So
it did.
Yeah,
and that's a big factor because even Alabama without Tua is not the same team. I mean,
no, definitely not
in terms of playoff hopes and stuff. They're not the same team without Tua. So.
But now the defense, and I can't stress this enough, the defense, for them to show up the way that they did against LSU, I mean, that was a completely dominant performance on that side of the ball. It really was.
Alabama's philosophy in the game totally changed from what they have been doing all year. They came out and they tried to use clock. They did use clock.
And it actually looked like some of the more, the more defensive-minded
3 or 4 years ago, Saban.
Yeah.
How many turnovers did Alabama have?
Alabama had 1, and LSU had 1.
Tua finally got that interception out of the way.
All right, fuck.
And you know what? It was an ugly interception. I've noticed that about Tua. When he throws one, it's like he doesn't.
It was like a punt.
Yeah,
it was like a punt. I mean, the guy had no chance of returning it. It's like, Tua just took a chance.
I don't know if Tua ever saw him. Really, I mean, that's the way. It appears when he does make a mistake that he's lost at times, but probably just trying to make
kind of sticking too close to the assignment and not really kind of making the proper adjustment, or it makes the adjustment and it was just the wrong look. I don't know that.
You can always throw it away.
It's that's where the whole the phrase armchair quarterback comes in, because we can pontificate on that sort of thing all day long. It's a much different beast when you're actually standing there on the field with your helmet on with all these people flying at you.
And that's why I say that, because Tua's usually flawless seemingly, and when he does make a mistake, it's usually like you wouldn't think it's the kind of mistake he would make.
Right.
Like he was. I don't know. I guess everybody has.
I think a lot of it was just that LSU was getting a lot of pressure on Tua, more pressure than he was used to.
Yeah,
They did.
and I have to give LSU's defense a lot of credit. I mean,
they played
again,
an excellent game.
yeah, they held Alabama to under 30 points, which was, some people would have contended was a magic number for Alabama if they didn't. I think we had said on this show 28 or something.
I could tell by the way the game was going when Alabama at half and when it went to 16-0. I knew Alabama had the game.
Yeah,
I honestly didn't think,
even if they didn't score another point.
I thought LSU would probably score. They would probably get one, and they almost did.
They missed the field goal, which was really kind of a chip shot field goal.
But I could not
think
see
it was under 40 yards.
At that point, I could not see them scoring 16.
Yeah.
But anyway, fuck this game. Let's get back to Auburn.
Yeah.
Auburn and Georgia.
Auburn.
Yeah, because that game's done and over
That game's
with.
done.
Yeah,
Man.
it is done.
Y'all warm-
Some people would argue it was done before it started.
Members are awesome.
You are now listening to Smacking Off the Podcast. Like and comment on our damn videos. Subscribe to our fucking channel. I really hate you dumb fuckers need to be told that. You should have already subscribed. Jesus fucking Christ.
Our audio-only podcast is hosted at podcastgarden.com/podcast/smackingoff. Or find us on Google Play Music. Or on iTunes.
Well, give me some of your predictions. Warm me up with what you think.
You talking about for Auburn, Georgia?
Yeah.
I think both of them suck. So
Really?
as an Alabama fan, I'm morally opposed to both teams. So you're kind of putting us on the spot here.
I think Auburn's going to have a run game like they haven't had this year to be able to pull this game
right
off.
there.
That was embarrassing last week. Honestly, we had 19 rushing yards. I mean, and I've said this before. Also, I've said it tonight. I don't see how in the world Chip Lindsey's job isn't up for grabs by this point. As poor as our offense has performed, somebody's going to have to take the heat for those 3 losses because it was pretty risky plays and just poor timing.
Well, we all know who's supposed to take the hit for that one, and that's going to be Gus Malzahn. But
hey, did you see Alan Green today said that Gus is guaranteed to be there through next year?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, y'all saw that contract. There's no way that Auburn, which Auburn does have some deep pockets, but there's no way that they're going to do this yet again.
Auburn plays good enough run defense that they could cause Georgia a lot of problems in this game. If Georgia can't get a run going.
And also,
that's where the game's going to be won, in my opinion, is the running game.
I agree.
And also,
if Auburn gets the running game going, you're going to gash us. We've shown that all year. And quite frankly, our running game, hell, the boys just got their first, 100-yard rushing games, the past 2 weeks? So, we got to get it going as well, and I think that's where it's going to be won.
Well, and in our backfield, Cam Martin's been pretty much invisible all year long.
Yeah.
Movies banged up. We haven't seen Asa Martin. We're handing the ball to 4 or 5 different guys, so we don't really have anything going, on the ground either. But I do think that's Auburn's wheelhouse, though, is stopping the run. I think that's about the biggest advantage that Auburn has. Is the
low-scoring game.
Yeah, and Fromm really has not looked like the stud quarterback that everybody was kind of hoping that he would be after his performance in the national championship. Right. So I mean, there's still a lot of question marks there that Auburn can exploit and at least be able to keep the game close. But Auburn's going to have to generate some offense in this game. They're going to have to.
Yeah, we are. Our receivers going to have to step up. I mean, they got Ridley over there. They got Nada. They got Godwin. They got Miko. I mean, they got weapons. Fromm could have a big day. He could hit a few deep ones.
Well, I'll tell you what, Walter, while you're talking, let's go ahead and get you to throw a prediction out there.
I've already got my prediction, but I'll let Cam go first.
Okay, go ahead, Cam.
Okay. That's nice.
All right. My predictions have not been that solid this year, but I'll go. And I got to go with my dogs, of course, but I'll say 37-31.
Hold on now. You said Georgia was going to beat LSU. I remember distinctly.
Yeah, but I was dead wrong.
I said Georgia was going to beat LSU too, but I think
we all did.
I was under Cam's influence at that point.
We did.
Yeah, well, so take mine with a grain of salt this week, gentlemen.
No,
So 37. So 37 for the Bulldogs. You say?
I say 37-31. I mean, I think it's going to be
37
close.
for
I
the
think it's going to be higher scoring. Than,
man, that
I
sounds
think
like a good
I
game
think
to
both
watch.
teams are coming to play.
Y'all talked me into watching this game.
Yeah, I might actually watch this one now. Why not?
That's actually that. I hope we don't give up 37 because I said earlier 35 will win it. And,
Yeah.
I can see Georgia getting 35, but
I can see
obviously
y'all
we
getting
don't
it.
want to allow.
Be quite
I
honest,
don't.
so.
Auburn. I don't see Auburn's offense clicking just yet. I think really, I'm predicting a lower scoring game than that, and it's
Okay.
for Auburn's sake.
That
really,
means that he's hoping for a lower scoring game, right?
Yeah, I'm hoping for a lower scoring game.
Okay, I got you.
That's probably going to mean what, as you mentioned earlier, stopping the run. If
All
we
right.
stop the run against Georgia.
All right,
maybe we
Walter,
can
tell
hold
us
them-
how Auburn's going to do this.
Maybe we can hold them under 21. So I'm saying 27-20 Auburn. For the hope for hopes of an upset and keep our season alive. So, and this is a much awaited matchup. Look, I had it marked on my calendar after last year's SEC championship game.
Mm-hmm.
We've been looking forward to playing Georgia again. It's a hard fought game every year. It's a rivalry. It's 6:00 prime time. So, it's definitely worth watching. I hope we put on a performance that's
Well, Stidham knows a little bit of something about beating Georgia in the regular season, if I remember correct. Yeah.
It can be done, and it's probably going to come down to somebody out coaching the other person. So we got coaching controversies. They got Kirby. You got two good teams. It usually comes down to who calls the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
So
That and Auburn always seems to have a golden horseshoe shoved up their ass somewhere.
This is true.
Does anybody remember what?
As a Bama fan, I can tell you I've seen that firsthand.
What was Gus's
I have too.
What was Gus's quote after the Auburn Georgia regular season game?
Whoop the dog crap out of them.
Yep, that's what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but you know what? The funny thing is, and he probably did mean that, in a sly way, but the thing about Gus, that one of the things I don't like is he doesn't cuss. I mean, I kind of like, if you cuss, I'm cool with that. I mean, sometimes you got to cuss. You got to get in somebody's ass.
I wonder, does Nick Saban curse?
No.
Yes, I didn't think
He's
so.
a practicing
Never said
Catholic.
a cuss word. No.
Catholics don't curse, dude.
I think Gus is the only coach that doesn't cuss, and that's probably why he didn't say more than that. But
He cussed that day, did he? What did he say? Did he say dog crap?
I said dog crap. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, he didn't say dog shit. Yeah.
It out their
He
window.
didn't say dog shit.
crap out of you.
Yeah.
But that was a great game. We've been looking forward to the rematch. So Auburn
man, I
fans will
can't
be ready
wait.
for it.
It's coming.
Auburn will be ready for it. We're going to have to
Yeah,
play
they will.
great defense. Right.
I think it's going to be a great game. So.
Much respect to Georgia. They're sitting at 5 right now, so they need to win also. And they're a great team. So
Yeah. Well,
I'm just going to go ahead and
good one as always.
I'm going to go ahead and throw this out
all
there.
over less wins.
This segment will go before you guys' segment on the Friday show. But Keith Lee said that Auburn was going to win big. Keith Lee said Georgia was going to win big.
Yeah, well.
Fuck Keith Lee.
Right.
Yeah.
That could happen, Georgia's going to have to make some plays defensively, and if they do, they'll probably win big. If they don't, it'll be a close game. Yeah. I think it might be close. We'll see.
All right.
I think it will be.
All right, guys. We're going to let y'all go to bed.
All right, gentlemen.
Man, appreciate it. Hit me up again sometime.
All right, man.
Good luck, brother.
Take care, guys.
Good, man. See ya. See ya.
Find Smacking Off the podcast on YouTube, at Podcast Garden, Google Play Music, and iTunes. Make sure to check out the 9 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday and Friday Facebook Live episodes at #FamilySmack.
Please subscribe to our channel by clicking the small smacking off icon at the top of the screen now. Click the link at the bottom of the screen to watch last week's episode.